I was really interested in making a movie told with as few words as possible. Just a very cinematic visual experience, elemental, something very man versus nature.
On paper, this is a story about a young woman who wants to be a warrior. And she's facing many oppositions.
Why do you want to hunt? Because you all think that I can't.
But it's much more than that.
I saw a sign in the sky.
When I first saw the very first film, I would have never thought that as a Native American Comanche, my culture could ever collide with such a franchise in a film.
Cut. Cool.
One of the things that was so exciting about the original Predator was that it was at the very beginning of the hybridization of genres. It was a horror movie and an action movie.
Go. Whoa! Oh my God.
I tracked down a writer I'd always wanted to work with, Patrick Asen, who had the sci-fi chops and the inventiveness paired with period and research. We sort of collaborated pretty intensively together on it. We hired a woman named Juanita Pataponi, who's a Comanche consultant, and she was near tears after reading it because there just hadn't ever been a movie that functioned this way. Not just featuring Native Americans, but having them at the lead of the movie.
What are you doing here?
Searching for you. Your brother sent us to bring you home.
It's a waste of time.
I agree. Cut.
Every department, there were Native American or First Nation crew members so that we were all making the movie together.
Action, guys, what's up? He's down.
Stay down.
Nada is a young woman in the Comanche camp. She is a fighter, she is strong. Her wants are quite different, I think, than other people would assign to her or imagine for her.
Amber Midthunder is amazing. She plays our lead character, who is Nadu, and Nadu means fight in Comanche. She's great at everything she does, not just the normal day-to-day life of a Comanche woman, but as a Comanche woman warrior.
Amber is incredibly physically capable and also such a gifted actor in being able to tell a story non-verbally. She can express so much with her eyes. I think she really was able to embody this character in this historical setting that feels immediately relatable to us.
All right. That's great. Well done. Great job.
Tabe is Nadu's younger brother, and they spent their whole lives together in this camp, so they're quite close.
Tabe in Comanche means sun, as in the actual sun in the sky, and it also means son, like a mother's son. You know, there's a lot of expectation on him because he's this tall, young, athletic warrior getting good at what he does.
At first, we were very worried about the sibling rivalry dynamic and wanted to make sure that we would love Tabe, and no matter how intense we asked him to get with his sister, it always comes across as there being a care there.
There's something else out there.
And if there is, I'll get it.
I can hunt.
You can't.
Do I need your permission, War Chief?
That is all credit to Dakota's performance.
What's really amazing about this film is that we have a lot of First Nations people playing First Nations characters. And that's really important because that's very important to authenticity.
He got that one.
The tribe is truly a tribe. You see how everybody works together. We spent a month in training camp, all just spending time together, working together to have that kind of environment and that unified mind.
It's what's for breakfast.
Very early on, we hired a gentleman named Kevin Starblanket, who is First Nations himself and served in the military and law enforcement. And we enlisted him to train our Comanche warriors.
I've been hired as the Indigenous trainer. My role is to build a team amongst the stunt doubles as well as the actual crew themselves and the cast. Along the lines of teaching them how to move, how to use their weapons, how things are done traditionally. You stand here so that you won't have to look up and crane up to see what he sees because he can see further down, right?
Yeah.
The Comanche were an amazing people. They were called the Lords of the Plains for a reason. They were the best there were at fighting from horseback. So to honor them, we have to be fit. We have to be good with our weapons.
This morning, I got up early and went out to a ranch out here and been working horses, which is my favorite part of the day. I work with the stick on the horse and I work with the bow on the horse and just kind of getting ready for the movie. It's really enjoyable.
So I start most days with a personal trainer, and then I go in and I work with Stephen McMichaels, our stunt coordinator, and JJ Park is our fight choreographer. And so we're gonna put together, I think, some fights and just do some drills and get good with our bodies.
Get up.
What? Get up.
I'm a lover of action and was raised by Hong Kong action movies and have been craving my entire life to make an awesome action movie with great fight sequences. And a part of the secret sauce for me in having a well-designed sequence is being able to see it and holding in wide shots and enjoying the choreography.
Like it's gonna be a real strong, so it's not so upright. Yeah. Yeah.
On the one hand, I wanted to make sure that the action was well articulated, but I also wanted it to feel especially brutal. Jeff Cutter is a cinematographer I work with a bunch who is very much a huge part of my creative process.
If we make this film look like a period drama, but yet its core is still like an exciting action film, that was what really kind of got me going. And the idea of setting the predator in these beautiful environments, forests and streams and overlooking vistas, and then contrasting that idea of the predator, this sort of lethal killer in these beautiful environments, that was a very exciting visual thing that got me very interested in it.
One of the most exciting things for me in the movie, I actually found our composer Sarah Schachner through playing video games. We wanted something to feel anthemic and epic, and Sarah was able to marry those two ideas and on the one hand play to the unexpected and embrace more modern sensibilities, and then on the other hand play into the sweeping character-oriented adventure. And then, of course, figuring out a way to incorporate the original iconic Alan Silvestri theme, but through Sarah's lens and disguising it in her super intense cellos.
I know.
Robert Mirabal, who's a renowned Pueblo musician, found a way to craft a sequence with this music and no words, and so it all just felt way more emotional than it was before. Our movie really takes advantage of the variety of land in the Great Plains. So there's so much in the dense woods, but there's also a great set piece in an open field of tall grass and up on mesa tops. And one of the first things that happened before production is with the help of the First Nations community in Calgary on Stoney Nakoda land, and we had a tribal blessing.
We needed to acknowledge the homelands that we were shooting on, and the fact that we were able to have this ceremony for our Native people, it just kind of really started us off the right way and in a good way.
Prey is set 300 years before the first movie, and it is this creature's first time on Earth. It goes back to the initial Stan Winston design. There's something about the initial design of that guy that I think is just cool.
Look, roll.
Truly, the predator is hard to look at times.
The first time that the Predator actually showed up in costume on set, he took everybody by surprise, which the Predator often does, but everybody just applauded because it was just an amazing thing to see him walking out in the middle of the woods.
We have to go find whatever left those tracks.
I looked over and I saw him, and this thing happened to me where I was captured by the sight, and also I really was evaluating if I could kill him for real, and I think I could.
There's danger nearby.
One of the things we wanted to do with the creature in this movie was actually, I really wanted to feel like this was a terrifying, wet, scaly, scary creature. Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr. of ADI, who have worked on every great movie you've ever seen, and all the Alien and Predator movies, did all the creature stuff in this movie. So the way it moves, its facial design, feels like it's not the exact one we've seen. It's got its own identity, maybe it's from another hemisphere of the same planet, and it's no longer wearing a helmet.
2, 1, hit!
The Predator still has his code of looking for the strongest threat, but hunts with earlier versions of weapons we had seen before. So he has the laser targeting, but instead of having the plasma cannon that explodes, he's shooting these heat-seeking crossbolts. He has the END, the explosive net device. I love the cut clamp, which was sort of designed off of the old slap bracelets I had when I was a kid that you'd throw around your wrist. The shield was the most exciting thing for me. I love the idea, the way the shield unfolds as a defense mechanism, and then he cleverly uses it in ways for offense as well. That's terribly exciting.
That was awesome.
And I love the idea that this movie could be aspirational as well as intense and suspenseful and terrifying. Having a character that is looked at as a sidekick and having her step up and rise and become the hero, that's something that's incredibly relatable.
This is as far as you go. No more.
It's really important to me that Indigenous youth see themselves in these characters, in these people, that they know that we're here and that we're capable, and that everything that they want to accomplish and everything that they hope to see is accessible and is very, very possible.
I'm ready.
Hey everyone, this is Dan Trachtenberg, director of Prey. And some scenes came up in a discussion in the audio commentary track that we wanted to share with everyone on this disc and give some more context. So this scene here was at one point the opening of the movie. We actually started on an entirely CG shot following an ant eaten by a fish, grabbed by a hawk, and then the hawk shot out of the sky. And then that was going to be too expensive, and then we actually repurposed that idea to include later on in the movie in the snake, mouse, predator scene. This was originally our opening. We felt that it was shot in Comanche. Early on in the process, we thought the whole movie might be shot in Comanche, and then it became just the opening, and so this scene would have played out entirely in Comanche and then transitioned into English when she gets into her teepee. But that all evolved, of course. The other reason why we didn't feel this was the best way to open was it was very focused on these other hunters coming through. This was Sape and the other guys laying it on a little thick, and their anger towards her. And it was meant to set up that Wasape is the war chief's son, which is a sort of a political, cultural dynamic that is not really important to the story. And we really wanted to make sure that the opening focused on the relationship between Nadu and her brother. Nadu, I think, also in this scene, when we shot it, came off more angsty than ambitious. So we made several changes and ended up with what's in the movie now. Hey everyone, this is Dan Trachtenberg, director of Prey. And this is another scene that we spoke about in the audio commentary and wanted to include on the disc. Originally, this scene was tethered to another scene that was cut from the movie where the war chief was talking to his wife about their band needing a new leader, a replacement. And it just felt like it was sort of stamping on the momentum of the movie. And not necessarily the most important information. So this scene, without that, even though we loved it, this little lovely moment between Nadu and this young girl, just sort of had to go. The other thing I loved about this scene was setting up that the bow needs to be clean in order to work. If it gets dirt, it'll snap. And of course, that comes into play later in the movie. Hey Hey, this is Dan Trachtenberg, director of Prey. So this is a deleted scene that was meant to occur after Nadu uses Big Beard to bait the predator and before the final fight in the film. And now in the movie, we would cut from this sequence to a little montage of her rigging traps around the mud pit before she lures the predator in. But this was a sequence that we did previs for, which is what you're watching. Previs using, initially starting out in storyboards and then going to a 3D program. This was done in Maya. Through the course of this movie, we eventually transitioned to using Unreal, actually, for previs with the awesome team over at Third Floor. This sequence was really cool. We were actually started building the stages and developing some of the stunt work for this treetop chase. And then we sort of ran out of budget, ran out of the time and money to really put effort into making this what it's meant to be. My favorite moment is this moment right here. This was the only thing that I was sad to lose. I thought this was such a cool little misdirect. But all in all, there was a little voice inside my head saying this was probably going to go, and then and being able to offer it up to the studio and pretending to be sad to lose it, in the back of my mind thinking creatively, you know what, it might not be the best thing for the movie. It felt, while I loved that it showed how agile Nadu was and paid off some of the tree stuff that we had earlier in the movie, I did always wonder if this would have stretched credibility a little bit too much and felt a little bit too over the top. But there you have it.